Okay, these are our sewer cleanouts. This is like it's a septic system. There's the disconnect for it, and this is the control box, service box. Septic systems are beyond the scope of this inspection. So it's good to know that you've got it. It looks to me like it's an aerobic system. And again, that's beyond. Now, main electric service disconnect for this box should be sealed on 3 sides to help prevent moisture from getting into the wall system. Now I'm left here to assume that this piping is for a water heater, and it's not supposed to discharge higher than 6 inches from the ground, and it's supposed to have a 90-degree bend on it pointing towards the ground. So this piping is not oriented properly. This electric service receptacle for these units, okay, it should not have a cover like this. It should have an in-use cover, a bubble cover if you will, so if you plug something in you can close the cover. This was acceptable in some locations at other times, but it's not acceptable in this location at this time. We got a pretty good ding right here in our wall. Now this is the electric service disconnect for the upstairs unfinished area, assume. And but here we go. And this piping, I'm just not real sure that it was sealed tight enough and ruined tight enough. Should put a cap on that. It should have been brazed closed. Just crimping them like that. Okay, when air gets into the piping, it mixes with the refrigerant. When it mixes with the refrigerant, it creates acid. Then the acid eats your system. So if this piping hasn't been sealed properly, then that just pretty much screwed the pooch. These disconnects, all these disconnects should be sealed on 3 sides, just like this disconnect should have been sealed on 3 sides to help prevent moisture from getting into the system. And then the piping on all 4 of these areas, all 3 of the ones that are in use, and all 4 of them, okay, that should be sealed where it goes through the wall, where it penetrates the wall. Those wall penetrations should have been sealed to help prevent moisture from getting into the wall. We've got high soil along this side all the way along the north side of the garage. Okay, so we got 3 condensing units here. That's kind of interesting because what I'm reading, and I'll have to check my math, but I'm reading that these 2 units are 4 tons. Okay, and that this unit is a 5 ton. That's what I'm reading. And then the 2 4 tons, okay, one of them takes a 35 amp fuse. That was the first one, the south one, 35 amp fuse. This smaller one takes a 40 amp fuse. So I'm not understanding that exactly, but that's what the manufacturer wants. That's what we're going to look at. The electric service disconnect, and take a lesson from this one. This one could take a lesson. They're not supposed to be behind the units. They're not supposed to be behind the units, and they're supposed to be sealed. And the piping is supposed to be sealed on the 3 sides. Okay. Now, the refrigerant inside of these units is 410A. It's legal to sell. But you know what? They're not making 410A condensers anymore. This came off the shelf in 23. Okay? They're not making compressors for this anymore. Do they have 410 refrigerant in stock? You bet they got lots of it. They were expecting this to happen. Okay, but as the stock diminishes, the cost is going to go up. Now, an interesting thing to know about air conditioning these days, okay, this is a 410 system, and they don't make the refrigerant for it anymore, and the cost of servicing it later on is going to get more and more expensive. If you do not register this equipment within 60 days of purchase, you do not have an extended warranty. It needs to be registered within 60 days of purchase. I have air conditioning people that tell me that they do thousands upon thousands of dollars of work a year for people
on work that should have been covered by warranty but was not. It was unwarrantable work because they did not register the equipment, and the manufacturer did not recognize that. So without that registration, the only warranty you have is whatever warranty the installer gave you. And that's usually on labor. So just a thought about this. This stuff needs to be registered. Okay? These pads are too small. They should extend at least 3 inches out from the sides of these units. They're just a little bit. They saved a little bit on all 3 pads, and probably counting on saving a little bit on that pad too. Saved a little bit of money on pads. And these pads are supposed to elevate these units a minimum of 3 inches above grade. And it's not doing that either. It's not doing that either. And then, this is a new rule. It just came into effect in the state of Texas in 2015. Oh, almost 20 years ago? Yeah. Okay. This is the wrong type of insulation for your low pressure refrigerant piping. It's supposed to be more robust than that. Painting it, sealing it with mastic, unquote, no, none of that counts. It needs a real serious cover to protect it. Here it is. Since the house has been built, it's already drying and cracking. You can see what it does. Do you think this is going to act any better than this? No, it's not. Okay, this is the wrong type of insulation. And then our Schrader valve caps, look that up. Our refrigerant piping, service access ports, service valves, access ports, caps. These should be anti-theft caps, and they're not. Those are stealable caps, if you will. But we had the wrong type of Schrader valve caps, we had the wrong type of insulation. I'm going to check the fusing, because it was kind of confusing out there. The fusing was confusing out here a little bit. So what do we learn? We learned that our disconnects are located behind the units. We learned that we got the wrong kind of insulation on our refrigerant piping. We learned that we got the wrong kind of caps on our refrigerant piping and access valves. We learned that our condensing units are not elevated a minimum of 3 inches above grade. We learned that our pipes, our foundation pads, our pads for our condensing units are undersized.